So yesterday, one of my friends was having a really bad day, and they wanted to know how they can get out of that bad day and turn things around. Well, there's a lot of things that I've read over the years in terms of just owning your state and be able to control your mind so you can get over these humps and get on with things and come out even stronger, right? And so the works of Lanny Basham, Jeff Aftermore, there's a lot of other sports psychologists in there, Tony Robbins, Jarek Robbins, to name a few, the Navy SEALs with their big four. And what I've done is I've kind of created my own hybrid that seems to work really good. I've taught it to other people. They've liked it, so I'm going to share it with you so you can get out of that funk, right? So the 4 steps or the 4 things I should say are, number 1, it's your thoughts. Number 2, it's your emotions. Number 3, it's your beliefs. And number 4, it's attack, right? And if you control these things, you're going to be able to start to master your mind and turn things around. So the first thing we got to start with is your thoughts, right? Because when you get in a rotten mood, you're feeling foul, things are, or life is happening to you, right? And coming against you, it seems like everything's conspiring against you. When you have that attitude that everything's conspiring against you, your mind is just going to focus on those things. So what usually happens to people is they start thinking, well, why does this BS always happen to me? Or why does it always seem like the world's conspiring against me, right? They start saying these things, and what happens is these start to become ingrained beliefs, right? And as Tony Robbins says, if you want better answers, ask better questions. So when you run into this type of adversity, ask yourself, what is it I can do to take things to the next level, all right? How is this an opportunity? How can I fix this? And when you start having that kind of processing going in your mind with your thoughts, then you can start to turn things around, right? You can start to turn things around. But if you just keep focusing in on the bad stuff, like, crap, this just happened to me, now this is gonna happen, this guy's gonna be a pain in my you-know-what, why does this always happen to me? Your mind is just gonna keep directing itself that way and keep looking for things to back that up. Whereas if you start asking those proactive, positive questions, what's the good in this? How can I make this better? How is this an opportunity for me? Then you're able to take things to the next level, right? So this is how it works. And one of my favorite sayings out there is life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react, right? And it's a great example of how you can start to do this. And I'll give you another example. One of my favorite coaches out there is Pete Carroll. He's the coach of the Seattle Seahawks right now. He's done some great things. He's done some great things in the college game. And what he's done is he's taught his guys how to be gritty, right? And what is grit? Grit is your ability to keep going even when you face adversity. And that's what truly makes greatness. And if you go look at the works of Angela Duckworth, she gets into grit, right? And grit is the number 1 factor that she's found, and they found with other research out there, that determines if someone has success and is a true winner, right? And so Pete Carroll teaches his guys to go out there and be gritty, right? And really stick with it. And what he does is he's taught his guys that when they come up against adversity, right? So they're going against a really good team. Maybe they're down at halftime, right? Maybe they're down by a lot of points with 4 minutes to go. He teaches his guys to embrace that and love it, because it's an opportunity for them to compete and go to a higher level. It forces them to grow and become that much better, right? So when you start to have that kind of thought process, ingrain that into your mind, then that's when your beliefs start to shift, right? So all belief is, they say, is a thought you keep on thinking. That is true. But the other thing with your beliefs and how you can shape your beliefs, which is what we'll get into here. So we were talking about your thoughts, then we're talking about your beliefs, right? And this can go in any of these orders, but I like to start with the thoughts, and then you can start to actually, you know what, I messed up. Let's go with emotions. I'd rather go with thoughts, because you got to start controlling those. So I'm teaching you how to get out of this funk. So you start thinking with those thoughts. We're going to start thinking positive questions. What's the opportunity in this? How can I take things to the next level, right? And then we go, number 2 is your emotions, and that's your state. So when you start feeling really crappy inside, you're down and you're out, there's a lot of things that are happening in your body physiologically as well, right? And so one of my favorite stories is how Tony Robbins was working with, I'm using Tony Robbins right here again, but he's great. He's one of the masters out there. He's talking about how he was working with someone who had stage fright, and it's a big entertainer, someone we would all know of if we actually knew their name. He didn't disclose their name, but he said this entertainer was having stage fright. And he goes, okay, well, how do you know that you're having stage fright? And she goes, well, I hear the roar of the crowd, my hands get all clammy and sweaty, I feel a shudder run down my spine, and my chest gets all tight. And she goes, that's when I know I'm having a panic attack, and it's going to be the worst day ever, and I can't go out there. He's like, oh, okay, interesting, right? So then he goes, and he was at a concert, and it was with Bruce Springsteen. He met Bruce Springsteen after the concert. He goes, man, how is it you go out there every night, night after night, and you put on these amazing performances, right? And so he says, he goes, you know what? It's the weirdest thing. I hear the roar of the crowd. I get a shudder down my spine. I get clammy hands. He's like, it was almost word for word, all the same exact symptoms, the chest, everything. And he goes, and that's when I know I'm ready. I'm going to go out there and have the best night ever, right? So a lot of what we feel, right? So when you start getting in these nasty days, you start feeling all this stress. If you think about it, right, it's all about the meaning you give it, right? Because if you think about when you're really excited versus when you're freaking out and you label it as stress, well, then that is, you know, it's all the label you give it. So I'll tell you, before races, a lot of the time I start feeling like this, and there's a lot of time where I lose bladder control, right? And I start peeing on myself. Now, some people would say I was scared pissless, but when this happens to me, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm good to go. And that's happened enough to me where I've gone on to win races and do good with them that I firmly believe that, right? Because it's become a belief. So those are some of the ways you can start to change and label your emotions in a positive way. The other thing is, if you're feeling down and out, when you start get up, start doing some jumping jacks, you start dancing around, you start getting the blood flowing, and you get that posture up, keep your head up. There's something to that, right? If you look at a depressed person, they're down, they're out, heads down, and you know, there's something to that saying. They say to you, keep your head up. There's a reason for that, right? Keep your head up, your physiology will start to change, you get the blood flow going, you start getting more oxygen in the system, you're gonna start feeling better. So get up, dance around, do some jumping jacks, do some burpees, get the blood flowing, you're gonna start to feel better, right? And you start to control those emotions like that. So you got your thoughts, right? Your emotions, then we get into your beliefs, right? And so those two things that I was talking about there with the emotions and your thoughts, those will start to translate into your beliefs. But really, the best way to impact your beliefs is practice. Every single day, practice. And so when you do this, when you start to get down and out, and you're like, oh, okay, I know what's happening here. I got to start controlling my thoughts, right? Then I got to start controlling my emotions. I got to start labeling these emotions as a positive thing that I'm starting to feel. I can get up, I can dance around, I can start feeling good about myself and going at it that way, right? And then you can also start thinking about other examples of people being gritty and being tough and these forces going against you, right? And you start to turn things. And then when you do that, right, and you're practicing, then you're starting to change your beliefs about when bad things happen, right? You're like, oh, great, this is an opportunity to step up, right? And take things to the next level. That's personally how I look at it. I'm like, great, this is an opportunity. I can take my game and my skills to the next level, right? Because no matter what level you go to life, you're still gonna have problems. They're just gonna be different. And it's good when you have different problems because that means you're growing, right? And you're getting to different things. They're never gonna go away. So you gotta just learn how to control them and take things to the next level. And the last thing I was talking about is the attack, right? So whatever it is that's creating this adversity in your life or giving you these issues, you got to isolate what that is and go straight at it. Take action towards it, right? So if you got a whole heap of work that's stressing you out, go straight at it. Isolate what it is. I'm like, all right, I'm stressed out about this work. Great, this is an opportunity for me to take things to the next level. I'm feeling a little jittery in my heart, but that just means I'm ready to take things to the next level. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna take some action, I'm gonna go straight at it. And as soon as you start taking action in the thing or towards the thing that's stressing you out, you immediately are gonna start feeling better. And what happens too is your thoughts are going in the proactive direction of solving the problem and get it done, right? So that's the quick breakdown of how you get out of things, and I try to keep it simple. I'm trying to make this even simpler, right? So it's those four things. So number one, it's your thoughts. Number 2, it's your emotions. Number 3, it's your beliefs, right? And those beliefs you can control over time, putting the practice in. Just like an athlete who gets really good at doing free throw shots under stress or whatever, you start to develop the belief that you can do that. And number 4 is attack. Whatever it is that's bugging you or going at you, then you're gonna isolate that, label it, isolate it, go straight at it, and take some action. Hope this helps. If this doesn't make sense, let me know. Or if you're unclear, you want me to go on about anything else or whatever, you ever have any questions, let me know. I'll make you a podcast and a video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.